What do we think about paper straws? We all voted we don't like them, right? Let's do it. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Born Reddy. I'm your host, Anthony Reddy. And today, topics are going to be a lot shorter. They're going to be bite sized. We're going to dive into a lot of things. This is episode 9. Holy shit. Number 9. I didn't think I'd be here this fast, which is pretty crazy to think about how fast it's going. I can understand why podcasts, the space, is really hard. It's really challenging. And I understand why people give up. I really do. There's a lot of preparation, a lot of work that goes into it. If you want it to, if you want it to be great. And I understand why people burn out or just fall off. It's because the amount of work that you have to put in before, during, and then the reward after is very little, especially when you're starting out. Um, Surprisingly, the way this is going is a lot better than I thought it would. Obviously, I'm not famous and I'm not a celebrity. I'm not an influencer. I'm just your regular, normal Anthony, right? And for the people who are listening and tuning in, you know me. And for the new followers coming in very slowly, first of all, thank you for showing up and listening and giving me a shot. But I get it. It's a lot. There's a lot that goes into this, especially for me who takes it very seriously, and I treat it like a regular job, because this is something that's given me so much joy, so much meaning and purpose, and that alone no paycheck and no job could ever do that for me, you know, and I feel like the joy that I've been getting has just been amplifying my life in a way where it's like raising my frequency, raising my um, excitement, and I just couldn't be more happy that I've started this. I started this journey, and I'm starting it with you all who are taking the time to listen and tuning in. Gosh, we talked a lot about a lot of things, right? We talked about fasting a couple episodes ago. Talked about balance a little bit. I think we did. Gosh, there's so much things that we talked about that I talked about, and um, the hardest part about doing this for me, it's finding the right words to flow and finding the right pace and cadence without having to use filler words or, gosh, it's about hitting a home run every time. I want to show up to the plate and hit a home run. Who doesn't? We all do. We all show up to whatever it is and we just want to knock it out of the park. And it's so hard. It's so hard to do every time. It's impossible. Really, it's impossible. Um, but it's giving me that type of challenge that it's making me, forcing me to show up every time at bat. Just keep going. Forget about the last one. Worry about the next one. And the failure part of it, which I do, I look back on some of the episodes and I'm like, I'm fumbling, or sometimes I lose my train of thought, or I can't get to the story, um, the end of the story fast enough, or maybe I should have done different. It's so hard to watch yourself after because in this art form, in this space, it's like you can constantly criticize and change the way you do things, but in real time, it's hard. It's really hard to show up and do it on the fly. But it's so fun and challenging, and that's the part I do like, that I wanna try to build that muscle to get better at this because it means something to me. I literally said that every episode, but I can't stress that enough. This means something to me. And through the through the journey of just, like, learning, how to fumble, how to stumble, not dwell on something is like a new skill that I'm practicing, and I'm trying to embrace myself, uh, through that journey more. So it reminds me of the, movie Rocky, and so funny, like, it was on TV. It was on the telly, like, last week. My dad had it on, and, it was, like, the end of the movie, But it was so funny because someone actually quoted the movie in a podcast that I recently just watched, and it was talking about in the first Rocky movie, it's about this, boxer who's his journey all the way to the top, fighting the best fighter in the world, Apollo Creed. And Rocky knows that this guy, Apollo, is like in a different class of his own. And there's no way that he can compete. There's no way that he can win this. And the night before the fight, he's telling Adrian, I can't win. There's no way. He's in a class of his own. Like, there's just not a version of me winning this fight. And Adrian had like, you know, just kind of really good advice, which was like, well, what are you gonna do? You know, she didn't sugarcoat it. She didn't like give him. She didn't hype. She just like said straight up, what are you gonna do? And that really hit me because I'm like, yeah, like even though we try to show up to be perfect and do our best, oh my God, there's a bumblebee. They follow me everywhere. I swear to God, dude. There's two, there's three. There's something going on. There's something outside. This is insane. Back to the story. um, yeah, it's like, what are you gonna do? And Rocky's like, well, I'm gonna pick my own win, and my own win is that I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna get knocked down. I'm not gonna. There's no way that I'm not gonna finish this round for round with the best boxer in the world. I'm gonna give it my all and do my best, and that's exactly what Rocky did. He lost that fight, but for him, he won because he gave it his all. He did his best, and he went toe to toe with the best fighter in the world. And I think this what the space does for me is that every time I show up, I know that I'm gonna try to do my best, but it's not gonna be perfect. And then when I rewatch myself to do the editing, the color grading, the whole thing, the post production after, I'm trying not to be so hard on myself when I am, and I'm also trying to learn and adopt different ways to say things or express things in a way that you can actually relate to, and in not a place where like you have to guess or um where it's just not entertaining or engaging. Because if this is not engaging or entertaining for you, then I need to do something different. And this is just as much my journey as yours. I mean, it's a two-way thing, right? I want to be able to create something that is special to me that I haven't seen before and do it my way in a way for you can relate, that you feel like you, the viewer, is right here with me. That's important to me. Connection is important to me. And I hope every time I come up to bat, that's exactly what I hit. We hit together. Anyways, I just wanted to start out by saying that I have some notes. I have some topics. We're gonna dive into a few different things, top of mind. And then at the very end of this episode, I'm actually gonna ask ChatGPT a question that I probably I'm really afraid to ask, but regardless of what what the answer is gonna be, um, it's gonna be fun. So stick around, and you'll find out what that question is and what the answer is. Cliffhanger. Holy shit. I've never had a cliffhanger. Now we're doing it. All right, so I'm taking some notes. Oh my gosh, yeah, the bumblebees thing, right? That like ever since I released the last episode about the bumblebee, I don't know what it is. They're just like there's something different going on. I don't know how it is in whatever place you live, but here in Ireland, like they're just been so active, in a way where like I feel like they feel something. Like, are you guys okay? Like, you guys are moving or, buzzing in a way that I haven't seen before. And yes, they follow me, but I feel a shift, and I don't know what it is. But here's a funny quick story. This morning I woke up, thankfully, and I was saying to myself like, what was the last episode I made? And I was like, oh, the bumblebee. And as I said bumblebee, what did I first thing I see out the window? A bumblebee. Like right now, there's a bunch of bumblebees, bumblebee, all around the windows. Also, I decided to record today because I'm like, the weather's gonna be perfect. The sun's out, great. Obviously, when I get to this time to ready to record, when we're ready to record, gray skies. Now it's sure the lights coming in fine, but gosh, I need I need to afford some equipment. That way I don't have to rely on just the weather here. So, but thankfully Ireland has been having amazing weather, so I can't complain. Okay, what do we want to talk about today? We talked about hitting a home run every time at the bat. That's hard. Oh yeah, okay. So, this next topic, I finished the book Imperfections by Brene Brown. She's an incredible author, researcher, professor at the University of Houston in Texas. She has tons of books, but I picked this one specifically because when I was researching for another book, imperfections came up as a um, topic that I was looking more into. And what I, so first of all, I love the book. She's just a brilliant person who's able to take a lot of research into a digestible way. When you read it, you understand. And something about her, I can see myself in her in a lot of ways because there's an old version of her that she talks about in the book, and then how she is in this new version and this new shift. And I just really feel like I relate to that. And she's still trying to break free or shed old values and beliefs and um, bad habits. You know, my one takeaway from the book that I loved and enjoyed most reading, besides energy, frequency, vibration, joy, gratitude, which she covers all. She talks about not being good enough. Never being satisfied. That was something that stuck out to me, that I was like, "Oh, that's I don't know if I don't know if I wanna read this part about never being satisfied and not feeling good enough, because this is something I've struggled my whole life." It's not the feeling that I don't feel satisfied. I think it's a feeling of knowing that I'm capable of doing better, and when something happens, it's really hard not to go back and change it or want to do something better than what you did yesterday. And I'm sure that's like we all feel that. I'm sure there's something inside of us that we all feel. And the word settling, I think it gets a bad rap, man. I really do, in a sense that when people think like, are you just settling for your job or for your partner or your life? It's not really settling. It's finding your way. Because let's be honest, even if you settle, things are gonna change. We're still moving, we're still grooving. You can't it's not gonna be plateau all the time, you know? So settling, I think, means, are you blank right now? Are you happy? Are you thrilled? Are you in a good place? I think it's right now. So that feeling of I'm never satisfied, I think it just means I'm looking forward to tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be a new opportunity, a new beginning. And for me, that feeling, that's what I mean when I'm like, oh, I never feel satisfied. It's because today's good, tomorrow's going to be better. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. And it's something that I'm preparing myself for, that I want to be at my best or do my best. And do you agree? Would you agree that that could be something that you also feel like, settling something that you choose to do consciously or unconsciously? And would you agree that, it's bad? I don't think it's bad to feel like I'm settling, as long as you're happy. Whatever that circumstance looks like for you, whatever the situational part or place that you're in, I think is fine. For me, I always feel never satisfied because I'm always looking forward to the next shot, to the next day. That's that feeling of where I come from. And then the part where I don't feel good enough, well, that's another topic on its own. But the part that I don't feel good enough really means that everything I've done so far, I could do better. I know I could do better. And through the learnings, through the lessons and mistakes that we learn throughout this journey of life, we're ready for that next wave to prove ourselves that we could do it differently or better. And I know that I'm not alone in this, because like, what are we doing then? Like, what is our purpose? What is our, what are our goals? And for me, it's like, even sometimes when I feel stuck or I don't have something to look forward to, yeah, I want to wake up tomorrow and do it differently, live life a little more fun, try something new, try something different. So those two things stuck out, and it started to like develop this feeling inside, almost like a visceral feeling where I'm like, "Ah, I don't want to touch it. It's too deep," and it was opening up wounds and traumas. And in the book, many times when I was reading this, I was like, I'm not ready for it. I can't help to say that because there's certain things that when she's talking about it, you feel it. You feel what she's going through or what she's sharing. And for me, sometimes I had to stop and take a breath and just think about that moment, or that trauma, or that wound. Here's what I liked about it. We can't go back and change the past, obviously, even though we would love to. But I really think it shapes us to be the person that we want to be, and the knowing of who we can be. I think that's where, okay, I'm not good enough. I'm not satisfied, but I know where I want to go. I know the person I want to be. And I think this book has really given me an opportunity to recognize that everything I've done up until this moment has made me who I am, but it doesn't define who I will be. And that's what I loved about this book, because she gives these all these opportunities about double down on the joy, on the gratitude, and in the wins. And the lessons that we learned, they're all just signposts. They're guardrails for us to recognize that, be careful. Don't repeat the same patterns, you know? There's more opportunity as we go forward, and that's the only thing we can do as we navigate this journey, right? Together. We're navigating constantly of not trying to make the same mistakes, not putting us in a bad place, as much as we can. So I don't know. I really like the book overall. I don't know what I'll read next. That's what I wanted to say. I don't know what I'll read next, but I love learning. I just love it. And there's something about seeing someone else's perspective that helps me shift mine, or helps me to dive deep into something that I'm not ready for, or I want to be able to bring up. But yeah, I think it's given me a new way to be able to look at things. And I don't know about you. Do you guys read books? I do. I mean, it's something that I try to. I try to make time for that. I want to be able to. I want to know what other people are talking about. I'm curious. I'm a curious soul. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next book. I really highly recommend any of her books if you're looking to um, gain some perspective, try something different. What else do I want to talk about? I told you it's gonna be a little quicker and a little more digestible today. I think I need a sip of my my last bit of coffee. That last sip was so satisfying, but also it's the end, and I'm sad. We talked about fasting in episode 7. I've gotten some some fun comments from that story. By the way, it's not called a Junior Bacon Western Cheeseburger. Unfortunately, that was a Carl's Jr. Name for one of the burgers. I think I was thinking of the Western Whopper. Whopper, the Western Whopper. I'm pretty sure it was Junior though. There was something I remember about being Junior, so maybe it was a Junior Western Whopper. So my mistake. I do not have. Maybe I will hire someone to. I'm pointing at myself to make those corrections for later. But anyways, I got a lot of questions about that, um, and it made me think of like where I wanted to pick up after the fasting part, because something that I learned that I didn't know that I was learning at the moment, at that time, that that I really didn't discover what that really was until later in life. But I accidentally discovered mindful eating. And mindful eating, in case you don't know what mindful eating is, let me say that again. Mindful eating is taking all your senses and focusing on only eating. But it doesn't start with eating, like taking that bite. It actually starts with the anticipation, right? About you're about to eat something, and that anticipation of that feeling that you're gonna be that you're gonna get, that you're gonna feel. Um, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like the anticipation before that first bite, that first sip. But what mindful eating does, it just enhances all your senses. It makes you focus on what you're doing and not anything else. That way, you are getting the full experience with nourishment and fun and flavor all in one. And I think from that moment where I did my fasting, I did two days of fasting as a kid, going to Burger King, and taking that first bite of the Junior Whopper, Western Whopper, I was savoring every single moment. That's why I vividly remember. Oh, do you ever see like I don't know if you notice, but if you notice I move, it's because I'm uncomfortable when I fuck up and I dwell on it. And for like 3 or 4 seconds as I'm like talking on the fly, I'm thinking about, God damn it, why did I fuck up? Why did I fumble? I don't want to fumble. Who wants to fumble? Not Derrick Henry. That's a reference for Derrick Henry, who's a running back for the Baltimore Ravens, who fumbled the last 3 weeks, which is one of the best running backs in the game. But, we all do that. Even in the best in the game is fumbling. But he's still playing. He's going to be fine. I'm going to be fine. Anyways, that was like a little ranthony. Um, um, now I lost my train of thought. We're talking about the Junior Western Whopper. Yeah, the anticipation. So opening it up and vividly remembering what that looked like, what that felt like, and it stuck with me all these years. And the reason why is because I was mentally focused. I was mindful eating. I can see the burger, I can smell it. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at all the different colors and I'm just looking at it to where I'm almost fantasizing what it's going to be like, but even that idea of what I'm trying to or I'm feeling is not even going to compare to what's about to happen next when I take that first bite. And so let's fast forward. So from that moment, the first time I discovered mindful eating, I was in Los Angeles with some buddies. We went to this sandwich shop that's supposed to be very famous. I can't remember the sandwich shop off top. I will figure out. I'll put it somewhere, maybe in the description. And as you're building, there's nothing like building a sandwich, by the way. When you go to a place and you're just like building something like a sandwich or a wrap, and you're just being an artist, right? Putting all the things, putting it all together, and just like you cannot wait. And as they are building it, we're always critical. We're like, that's too much lettuce. Why'd you do that? Look at that soggy ass tomato. Don't pick that one. Pick that one. Which I really love. But we're at this sandwich shop in Los Angeles, and I remember telling the person what I wanted and looking at it, and the way she cut it was like perfect. I don't know what, something about the cut was like, oh my God, I can't wait for this. We sit down, we're all, about to eat, not even thinking about anything because we're just probably just being alive, being. But something about when I picked up that sandwich, that half, and I looked at it, and I was just memorized. Remember like being like, oh my God, look at all these, the cheese, the tomato, the lettuce, the pickle, the meat, uh, the mustard, the mayo, the bread, and I'm just like, and I was just lost. I was in a trance, and my friends are just going at it, right? And then I think one of them looked at me like, "Dude, are you not going to eat, or what's wrong? There's something wrong with your sandwich?" And I was like, "Isn't this beautiful? Look at the sandwich. Like, is that not a perfect sandwich?" And you guys, to this day, one of the best sandwiches I ever ate because I just took a moment that I just fell in love with the way it looked, the way it felt, the way it was going to make me feel. And I just remember when I took that first bite, I closed my eyes, and then here's how I discovered it. I can see and feel all the colors of all the different parts of the sandwich. I can see the mustard. I can feel it. And I start to get this like glow feeling. I don't know, it was so weird, guys. It was such a weird moment where I was like, something's happening. I'm not sure. I'm like in a different world, a different plane, if you will. And I remember just being in love with that sandwich. And it was my friends were just like, dude, that's way too much. Like it's making us uncomfortable. But I was like, I can't help it. I'm so locked in. And since that moment, I think that was about, wow, 10 years ago. Yeah, about 10 years ago. I think I was like working at Facebook at the time and I was visiting my buddies. And since then, I've always tried to just take a moment, just a quick moment to think about that feeling of what's it going to be like? What's it going to feel like? And then when I take that bite, I really try to close my eyes and just let it come, like let all the thoughts and feelings and emotions come to surface. And yeah, mindful eating, man, has changed my life. And I don't know if you guys even ever took a moment to even think about that and what it feels like, but fasting will get you there. I remember I did a 4-day fast, which is one of the longest ones, 4.5 fasts I ever did. And it was during the time my mom wasn't well. And I remember the first thing I had, I went to Costco and I got a acai bowl, and I wanted something kind of soft because you're after a fast that long, you shouldn't eat something solid. Your body has to adjust. But I remember thinking like, I want some fruit, and same thing, guys. The colors, like I had honey, coconut shavings, strawberry. No, I don't think I had any granola. And the acai bowl was one of the best I ever had from Costco. You know what I'm saying? But that's what it could be. It could be like your Burger Kings and Costco's, right? Just like a go-to item for food, not even like the top of the food chain. And it can just be one of those moments where you'll never forget it. So if you've never tried it before, if you've never tried mindful eating or even fasting, well, first of all, fasting is like, be careful. Be careful if you fast because everyone's different. And especially for like male to female, we're different biology, different chemistry. Just be careful if you fast. But if you try it and give it a shot, start with soup or ice cream, some kind of soft served, if you will, choice, and then. But guys, it's something that like that first time fasting of not eating, and then that first bite of something, whatever it is that you choose to, it'll stay with you for the rest of your life, and there's nothing like it. You know. Yeah. Anyways, I wanted to talk about the mindful eating part because it's changed the way I eat, and what I crave, and what my body is looking for nourishment. It matters. It matters what you put in your body. You guys, let's talk a little bit about the tarot reading that we did. We did a couple episodes ago. We did an angel card tarot reading, and a friend of mine, Emily Smith, who I gave a shout out to last episode for those kind words. Um, we had a 2 hour conversation just catching up, and it was really nice. And one of the things she asked was to do a angel tarot card reading, and I thought there's no better way to learn something and practice something like a new skill than by teaching it. And it was so much fun to do the reading with her, and it was one of the most wildest like readings I've ever done for someone, and I've only done it for maybe a dozen friends or family or so, and myself, maybe 2 3 dozen times. But this reading was so interesting because when we're pulling cards, we just did a quick reading for a specific intention that she wanted to know more about. The first card was great because it was a good one of those like main cards. I forget what they're called. I should know this, but they're basically one of the archangels of the deck. And the next two cards were back to back, same suit. It was like a 9 and an 8, and they were kind of cards where like they were air cards. I remember air, and air is blue. And I remember thinking like, oh, these are cards that like are showing up for a reason. I can tell. But I was kind of like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like, I got a back to back same suit card. So I was like, for fun, let's just pull one more, but let me shuffle. So I shuffle it. You guys would never guess what the next card was. Same suit, the next number. So it went 9, 8, and then 7. And I was thinking, oh my God, if this is not a sign from the universe, I don't know what is, but we started busting up laughing. Um, and it was a lot of fun. Again, if you are ever feeling stuck and you just want some guidance or even just to change it up a little bit, highly recommend doing that. If you don't own any tarot cards, or you don't want to pay for a reading, go online. There's a bunch of websites that you can actually ask, just like give me a reading and they'll do it for free. Or you can ask ChatGPT to do it. It can pull a card for you. And you don't have to do the regular tarot. You can choose whatever type of suit or deck that you like. Um, I was laughing at something. Okay, and it'll pull for you. It'll pull a card for you, and may give you some insight that you need, some guidance that you need to move forward. But what the whole reason why people use tarot is to pull these cards because they're pulling out the answers from you, and this is the universe showing us that this is what you need to focus on, and this is what you need to do. And they're all opportunities. They're all up to you. They're your choice. So let's go beyond that. So I'm a big fan of the woo woo, right? The spirituality part of life. And I use an app called the Pattern app. And the Pattern app is basically all the zodiac astrology information that you get. They'll give you a daily vibe or something that you can focus on for the day. It'll tell you what your impacts and transits are. Now, those are basically things that are happening to you right now in this period of time based off the planet alignments. And I use the pattern almost religiously now because I can't help to think that it is dead on. Like, not spot on, dead on, for me at least. And I've tracked it back all the way from things like, oh, back in 2005, like this happened to me, and what kind of impact was I, going through? And you guys, like, I can't believe some of the things that align so perfectly. So the pattern app gives you these opportunities to read more into depth about if you are feeling off or are experiencing a cycle that you are that's challenging, or even if you're having like a brand new chapter where everything is going great. Like, these are all based off the planet alignments. And what I like about the pattern app is that it kind of gives me insight on I'm not crazy for feeling this way, right? Like, things are weird, right? And for the last couple months, as if you are following with my journey, it's been weird. It's been a weird chapter for me. I'm going through a lot of surrendering. I'm going through a lot of shedding, and the pattern app is like dead on about the transit. So right now, I'm in this transit, and it's once in a lifetime transit. If you want to say it's a quarter life or midlife crisis, some people would say, but it's a once in a lifetime experience that at 40 to 41 years old, which I'm dead on in the middle, I'm going to be going through a lot of changes, a lot of things that are old beliefs that I no longer um, agree or buy into, or I'm shedding a lot of old beliefs, values, and creating new ones for me because I'm looking to build a foundation. And it's so crazy that when it started and when it's going to end, it's exactly what I'm feeling. Now, with that, the reason why I say this is because if you're looking to maybe get some more guidance and you also, want to give it a shot, whether you believe it or not, that rhymed. Um, you put in your birth chart, like information, like when you were born at the time, where were you born, and what year, and it'll give you a breakdown of your birth chart, your natal chart, and it'll give you a breakdown of all like the signs and your moon, your sun, your rising. Which I'm a double Scorpio, my moon and sun, and my rising is Aquarius, which is very weird. And then beyond that, I would put it into ChatGPT, do a whole breakdown about my natal chart, and it did say that my natal chart, my journey, was going to be one of the toughest in life, a 9.5 out of 10 difficulty, because I'm constantly going to be changing and going through death and rebirth constantly. But through that journey, I'm here to show others that you can get through it, and you can take those lessons and learnings into strength and growth, which I truly believe, which is the reason why I wanted to share this, because whatever feels good for you, I think you should double down on that. Religion, exercise, woo woo, whatever it is that you are in tune or that feels good, go for it. And also try everything, because you never know what's out there that can improve or give you a boost, or a different perspective. And that's what it all is about, right? That's what it all is about. That was so funny. I don't have any more coffee, so I can't take a awkward transition. But anyways, check out the pattern app. It's something that I absolutely love learning about myself. Speaking of apps, another. So recently, I asked my dad. I'm like, "Have you? I started a podcast, right?" And he's like, "You're broadcasting?" I was like, "Yes, my broadcasting." He's like, "I don't know where to go." He's like, "I see it on the TikTok, but my dad's addicted to TikTok. By the way, he has a problem. It's a problem. We can't even watch a movie anymore without him pulling out his phone randomly just to get a little bit of dopamine, and scrolling through. He's terrible. He's a terrible child. But God love him, and it's fun. I'm really glad that he's adapted, and my dad is very savvy like that. He learns pretty quickly. Anyway, so I was thinking, what you know how to get to TikTok or YouTube? You just click on the link, and he's like, it's too confusing. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna build you an app. So that's what I did. I built a Born Reddy podcast app. Now it's not live. It's just something that I built for him, and I used ChatGPT to help me build this. Obviously, I don't know how to write code that well, but I understand it a little bit, a little bit. And building it it just sparked another fun, creative idea that I was like, oh my God, this was so much fun to do. A little painful for a genius like ChatGPT trying to tell me to fix something that's in the tool, and I'm going back. I'm like, it's still wrong, and like doing this for like 16 hours was a lot of fun. We learned a lot, and but no, it sparked of a creative idea that like, what else can I build? But anyways, I built this app for my dad, and it's really cool. Like it's actually like an app, and it's so cool to see yourself on your iPhone when you click on it, and then there's all your episodes, there's all the clips, there's all the social accounts and how to share it, and it's just really fun, and I'm so proud. Like I didn't know how to do any of that, and I just showed up to do something for someone, and it just turned out to this beautiful thing. You guys, I hope, I really do hope, whatever it is that you do in life, find something that just lights you up, and find something that you can constantly work on. I think that's one of the most beautiful things in life is creation, right? It's just bringing something to life, an idea, whatever it is. And even it doesn't have to be so original. It could be something. It could be painting, or it can be video game. Whatever it is that you love, like double down on that and create something. Create something that's never been existed before, or in a different way that you've never seen it before. I can't tell you how much joy it's brought me, and I just really would love to share that joy with you. And also, I would love to know what it is that you're working on, or what is it that you love doing. Please, guys, I'm begging for feedback. I really do want to know. If you get a chance, please drop it in the comments. There's a place for it, or just DM me, whatever. But anyways, just doing this for my dad, and then him seeing the app on his phone, he goes, "Oh, that's brilliant! It is. Look at that. Fair play to you. Did a good job." I'm still working on the accent. No, but yeah, it just made me proud, you know. And then it's been about 3 or 4 days now, and I asked him, "Did you listen to any of the episode?" And he said no. So it's a work in progress, and I get it. If you know me, like listening to all this is like, okay, we know who you are. It's hard. I get it. But that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build. We're trying to grow, guys. And I need you to help share and tune in and promote it and share it, lick it and split it, all the good things, for this to grow. And I know it will in due time. Okay, I think we're ready to close this out. What are we doing? How are we doing on time? Oh yeah, we're about that time. Okay, so I thought it'd be a fun idea to ask ChatGPT a question to end this episode. And what I thought would be really fun is a question that I probably wouldn't share on the episode live, but I'm going to try to do it anyways. So here's the prompt. Share something about me for the episode that I would never share to the viewers because I'm too embarrassed, ashamed, scared, or too vulnerable. And don't hold back. Whatever you think it is, I'll share it no matter what. And I'm really nervous because, well, wouldn't you be? So without further ado, here we go. I just press enter. We're waiting for it. All right, Anthony. Here's one that's deep, raw, honest, perfectly aligned for episode 9's theme: imperfection, resilience, and self-acceptance. Thanks for giving me themes for the title. Okay. The answer: share the truth that even while making this podcast, something you love, something that gives you purpose, there are days you secretly wonder if it even matters. Not in a dramatic way or I'll quit tomorrow, but are you going to give me the actual question? The part you admit normally. Um, so what's the question? Gosh. So what's the question or topic I should share? Sorry. Bear with me. Okay. So it wants me to say, and I don't think it's not even that bad. I actually thought it was going to be worse, but it's like the question is, what if it doesn't matter? What if I'm doing all this and it doesn't matter? Well, it kind of doesn't. I mean, I just started, right? We're in episode 9. I have a very small following, dedicated following, which I love. I can't thank you enough. Um, but what if it didn't matter? Honestly, if it didn't matter, I think I would let myself off the hook with pressure and not worry about fumbling, stumbling, and dwelling on words because then I don't have to judge it being so good, Because what I want is I want this to be good. I want me to feel satisfied with an episode that I felt like I crushed it, and it was fun. I think if it didn't matter, it would also allow me to just talk about things without having like an actual structure because it's important to me. Like I love storytelling, but I don't want it to go off, all the time. And sometimes I'll rant, like some of the stories I'll tell, they'll go for 10, 15 minutes. And I'm thinking, is that something that you want to hear? All the juicy details and be that long? I do. I mean, that's the reason why I share it that way. But sometimes maybe I need to get to the point quicker. So I don't know if all this didn't matter. Here's the thing: I'm not getting paid for this, okay? And I've dedicated this time, this project to be my full-time job. And believe it or not, like every day, I'm either listening to a podcast, listening to another one, I'm editing, I'm thinking of ideas, I'm incorporating different ways to be able to promote it without having just clips, which is fine. I love having clips and sharing it, but for you, the people who follow, I want this to be so much more than just the average what you see. Because if I want to stand out a little bit and be a little different, then I need to be creative. And I think that's something that I'm beginning to realize that doing these fun clips and then maybe just like these lifestyle shots, with captions is cool because you get the information, you can kind of see my world, but I want it to be fun. Look, everything I do in life, I need to have fun. Okay. I want it to play and be creative. And I want it to mean something. That means I have some kind of connection or purpose or joy. And if it doesn't have those three things, like I don't want to do it. And that's something that I've been trying to double down on is like, if I'm thinking about doing something or going somewhere or meeting up with someone, you know, am I going to feel that way? And especially to the things that I'm going to give my time to, like obviously we all need to be able to find our way to have some kind of financial income. But the choice is, are you going to give up your time and your health, your worries, your stress just for a paycheck? And don't get me wrong, I've done that, but there's no feeling like doing it on your own or doing something that lights you up, that you feel joy and makes you happy. And that's something that I really need to lean on and not look at the money part. Or, yes, I can trade my time for this amount of money, but I can't tell you how many times I've done that. And it's just doesn't work out for me. I really wish it did. I really wish money was something that, you know, came easy. And not to say it didn't, but in the way where like, why can't I just do something fun and get paid for it? Isn't that what we all want to do? Luckily, I do have that opportunity right now to start from scratch and start over and build something. But eventually, I'm going to have to figure it out. And I know I will. But the choice is, will I do something on my own terms that gives me joy? And the answer is yes. I'm going to make that a priority, whatever space it is. I hope it's with something with people, a little more people, not so techie or AI or e-commerce, or I really love connection. That's something that I think is important. I think it's important for all of us to have, whether you're young, seasoned, or anything in between. I think it's important that we all just have a stronger connection, stronger community. And that's something I want to explore. So, guys, I really thought it was going to give me more of a tough question. But thankfully it didn't. And I'm happy with that. So, everyone, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm your host, Anthony Reddy. This is the Born Reddy podcast, and I will see you soon. Ready or not, I'll see you soon. Thanks, everyone.